This video will quickly demonstrate the main suburb analysis page within Ripehouse. This is where the magic happens. It's a great, powerful page that allows you to analyse a suburb, potentially gain a local's mindset, and see the properties in the suburb that have the most potential for your overall strategy, the suburb strategy, the streets and the areas with the most potential in the suburb, and then also appraise those properties based on the comparables to get a really great valuation to determine if it's below average, below market value as a property. Where I am at the moment, I'm in the My Suburbs page, which is a page which is part of our paid subscription, a shortlisting page. We can jump into the analysis page from here. So let's analyse Clayfield in Queensland. A few things I want to cover off on the main suburb analysis page. Sorry, I didn't click then. This is loading up now. It does take a few seconds in some cases to load. There's a lot of information that's happening on this page. So really quick starting point. Let's look at the blurb here for the suburb. The most in-demand properties, 2-bedroom houses. So 2 bedrooms, the most popular houses are the most popular type of property. High number of renters compared to the local government area. Very low crime. Below average concentrations of public housing. So it's a really quick feel for the suburb. Each of the red markers on the map here are properties currently for sale on the market. The darker the red, the more expensive. The white background icons are actually options or price withheld. Okay, so first step is validate the suburb strategy. The reason why we've come to Clayfield, it's in the 61st percentile for capital growth. So just in the top 2/5, 60% of suburbs have a lower capital growth recommendation. Let's validate that by clicking on the detailed strategy analysis button. This will compare the 3 strategies. Why is in the 61st percentile? Sold volumes is slightly decreasing, which is not, it's down by 12% in the previous quarter. We looked for increasing sales volumes for capital growth. Rents increasing by $25 a week in the previous quarter, which is great. Days on market decreasing. So what we're doing is we're validating why the capital growth is recommended. So it's reasonable fundamentals. I would like to see sales volume a little bit more stable than this, but all the numbers are here. This is relating to the 3 core strategies. You can go down to View Suburb Report down here at the bottom, and there's a lot more information about the suburb in here that you can gain. So the Analytics tab here is a great way of actually looking at all these raw numbers that constitute the strategy recommendation. This is the full set of them here. So take your time to look through the content of these tabs. Okay, so we've validated our strategy. Yes, it does look reasonable for capital gains in this suburb in the short term. Next stage is I want to understand the suburb dynamics. I want to see the areas in the suburb that might be primed for capital growth. I'm going to zoom in the map a little bit here. It's the plus and minus zoom buttons here. These are the toggles over here on the left, which relate to applying overlays to the map at an area or street level. We can turn the strategy overlay on, and that's going to quickly show us these 3 zones in the suburb that are most appropriate for capital growth. Okay, what that means is those areas have high percentage of renters, so they've got good tenancies, low public housing, lower than average public housing, high rents, high incomes. Basically, it's where people are paying the most to rent. The incomes are potentially going up the fastest in these areas, and it's got good street appeal, low public housing. So we can focus in on those areas in particular. Any of these overlays on the map relate to approximately 200 residences. You can hover over them there, and you can click on it. So each of those overlays you can click to determine the exact statistics for this area. Okay, so this particular area has 0% public housing, basically 50% rental density, 85% units, average rent is $390 per week, average income to $1,265. So anytime you see an overlay on the map, you can click on that overlay to view the statistics. Basically, what goes into the strategy overlay is each of the other overlays. So you want to see exactly where public housing is. You can click the public housing overlay. The darker the red, the more stronger the public housing concentration. Any of the numbers over here on the left relate to the suburb overall. So 2% public housing in Clayfield. However, this dark red area here has 15% public housing. So that will definitely be having some effect on the street appeal of the suburb. So second step is make sure you familiarise yourself with these toggles and start learning about the suburb like a local would. is what we were trying to tick off here. The occupancy type toggle here is an example. Anything in the yellow is predominantly rented. Anything in the green is predominantly owner-occupied. So if you're looking at a flipping strategy, you might be looking in the owner-occupied area down here, which actually has only 13% rentals. However, if you're looking for a capital growth or a cash flow strategy, you might be looking at this strong yellow area up here, which actually has 65% rentals. So a very different type of scenario, depending on your very relevant to very different type of strategy. You can quickly see where the areas are. Okay, so we've got a bit of familiarisation with the suburb. Just say that we're looking to invest only in these blue capital growth areas for the purposes of this example. That's what I'll potentially be recommending. There's 105 properties currently on the market in Clayfield. Let's get a bit of a feel for these types of properties. What are they? You can click on this to show their property table. This is going to display them all as a list. We can filter based on the amount that these properties have been discounted. So there's some properties in the suburb. So this one that's on the market for $2 million has been discounted 16% since it started on the market. Quite a few properties that have been discounted, and they do range from the low $375 for a 2-bedroom right up to the 7-bedroom mansion, I suppose. They're all basically discounted quite consistently. So let's get a feel for that. I also want to get a feel down here in the left-hand bottom for the suburb median prices, because what we're going to do is we're going to take a lot of properties off the map that we're not interested in, and I want to see how that suburb median changes based on the properties that are left on the map. So what I'm going to do is going to click on the filter properties. Let's filter by capital growth areas, and we can filter by houses or apartments. I'll leave that for now. I only want to show the properties that are located in those capital growth areas. So this is going to take a few seconds once again. Hopefully it's going to get us down to a manageable number of properties, say under 10, and then we can start looking through those properties individually and looking and appraising them. So it's got us down to 10 properties, the properties that are located in the capital growth areas. Now we can click on these icons and that will load up a property pop-up, which will help us assess this property and make our decision whether it's worth following through with the agent. So we can click at all the images there. We can view the condition description, the automated condition assessment. We can override that. We can view the full listing history, including all discounting, suburb level statistics, area level statistics, strategy recommendation. So does the suburb align with the area, align with the property? We can look at comparables. So it's pulling the top 6 comparable sold and for rent properties. We can view those. We can agree and disagree with each comparable and remove if we disagree. What we're trying to do is get a baseline to form an appraisal. So it's pulled in, say, the top 6 relevant comparables. We can remove those if we disagree. We can view the images for each, and then we can move those through to the appraisal stage, which is going to form the market appraisal. This is going to be compared to where the property is located, how close it is to shops, schools, transport, public housing. It's going to weight the appraised value based on that location. It's going to give a final appraised value, asking price, estimated rate, and yield, and then we can take that through to a report and print that off and run with that through to an open house or however. Okay, so this is a really quick run through. It is designed to be a real top level look at the suburb analysis page. You could spend hours on this page. There's lots of different functionality and features and ways you can dissect the suburb. This is a very high level view. Thank you.